Let's talk about merit. Um, Many people know what merit is. Um, Not a lot of people these days actually know um, the value of merit. Merit isn't necessarily an idea so much as it is a kind of social tether that unites us to the fact that our nature and our existence and our cohabitation as beings on this planet, our survival is warranted by a sharing of cooperation that stems from a mutuality of energy exchange. Um, Merit is not equated to effort. It's not about how much you do or how little you do so much as it is the knowing and the understanding that individuals working to cooperate and share a common goal see and recognize one another's struggles just as much as they see and recognize one another's abilities and effort. Merit is in neglect these days because a lot of underlying social contracts and behaviors have been lost upon people chasing and seeking to gain um, footholds and thresholds to a more lavish, easy life. And they're willing to step on others in order to achieve those goals. An entire civilization basically running to save itself from the trials and tribulation of hardship leaves a lot of people in the dust. And the people who are left in the dust quite oftentimes are those who had merit, effort, integrity. A world that seeks dominion and materialistic pursuit and gain is a cold world because life no longer has inherent value in the struggle of being human so much as it is about the obtaining of resources and status at any and all cost. When you undermine the value and the effort of good, honest, hardworking people, and you leave them with nothing in return for that effort, they start to take their light back and they start to move in their own directions and they start to decide and determine for themselves what is really of value in the world. If the world is nothing but a game of selfishness and survival, I became a minimalist kind of out of necessity because this world grew so fast in its pursuit of trinkets and goodies around me that I did not have time, let alone opportunity, to work on myself, catch up to people in my same realm in Ringhouse, and beyond that, I was dealing with a very neurotic living situation, and I fell behind and had to work on fixing myself more than trying to fix and mend what I could do and what I could produce for the world. And I think I kind of dodged a bullet inadvertently in doing so, even though I'm kind of left in the wake and the debris and the dust of not having many opportunities presented to me. The reality is I'm starting from bedrock and the ground up, and I have nothing to do but to build for myself a life of my choosing. And with that freedom to choose the direction and the trajectory of my life, I began to value and appreciate myself, not just as a person, but as a being and an organism and a part of nature and an experiencer and witness to life and its marvels, its intricacies, its terrors, its goofiness, its beauty, and its potent allure to draw people into the idea, the notion that you have and stand to lose everything if you don't fit into a given role or a given criterion of ideal. In reality, you had nothing to lose but other people's delusions and illusions for you. When you hit a bottom, you bottom out and you work your way up. You realize that the only thing you were actually losing was a lot of the societal programming and conditioning that you were rigorously put through in order to entrap and lock you in a state of fear of your own inadequacies. But human beings, by their very nature, when observed, are nothing but inadequate, and intentionally so, because we learn from falling down and picking ourselves up and continuing to go and continuing to strive in a direction despite odds seeming stacked against us. That's how the whole of nature on this planet is. It grows and it nurtures itself, and it weathers the storms, and it weathers the seasons, and it weathers the cycles. I think a lot of people become neurotic or develop a neurosis in the first place because they hold on to concepts and ideas that they think belong to them, like property, like material, like a possession. That word in itself, possession, is kind of redundantly stated in that circumstance, because is it not that we become possessed by our thoughts, by our thinkings, and the things that we attach and cling to? And we never allow ourselves the free, ample ability to wander in the theater of the mind, or to wander in the open world. We are conditioned to box ourselves in. And we wonder why we feel so confined and trapped and helpless in life, when that's all we're taught to know, is how to fit in a box. Your mind is limitless in its potential. It can imagine and draw anything can route you in the direction of anything, so long as you can maintain and sustain peace in knowing that it's not necessarily about the destination, it's about the journey and enjoying it, regardless of the circumstance. And the more I learn, the less I actually know, and the less I actually take things seriously, because I begin to realize I'm not actually necessarily here to fight or secure anything so much as I am here to be of benefit and benevolence to other people. I've been a shoulder to cry on and a person others choose to despise. I've been a friend, I've been a companion, I've been an adversary, I've been an opponent, I've been a worker, I've been a bum, I've been a somebody, and I've been a nobody. And the only constant that remained is the fact that it was an ever-changing circumstance. And no matter how hard I tried or how much effort I put into things, things kept changing. So instead of trying hard, I began to go with the direction of changing and the seasons. And it was a slow, steady falling away of things that warranted me a lot of pain and a lot of adversity, that began to open me up to potentials that I was too afraid to really see or believe or look into. Now looking at different horizons and different ideas, I began to see potentials where others see a blank slate and a blank canvas. I have an open mind and a vision and an ability to see things that other people don't. I read between the lines of life and the things going on and the times and the things I've been put through, because they're not a linear process. It's been a process of a gaining of forward momentum and potential from a state of coming from chaos back into center, and then allowing entropy to take what did not work and did not serve and push in a direction what warranted and permitted growth. I let the things that I could not control go, and I got just as much ostracized for that as if I had put in effort and merit and work. So it made no difference. And what I realize is it's not what you do necessarily that matters, because in this world and the way that it is, nobody actually cares what you do, so long as you are doing something that warrants a benefit to them. But how very little people actually do the things that would benefit them. They expect it from other people. If they knew that you could sit and you can let things fall to the wayside and you could fall apart completely and then still get up, dust yourself off, and go in a new direction, an easier direction, a better direction for you, they wouldn't struggle half as much as they do in this life and in this world, but everybody is busy chasing things and never getting where they're actually trying to arrive at, because they're never present. They're always caught in the hunt, in the predation, in the chase. And life's not something that you chase, it's something that you experience, it's something that you emanate, it's something that you color and paint with your mind and your imagination and your ability to see potentials, to enjoy the vibrancy of, to relax into. So much emphasis on surviving. Who survives this experience? Do any of us survive this experience? Do any of us come out unscathed? No. But all this fuss and worry, it's part of the story, it's part of the experience of life. It's just one season and one mode of life and living. And I was caught in the wake of other people's loathing of how difficult and challenging life can be, but they don't realize that it's a game of building a house of cards to watch it fall to the ground and then picking it back up. It's a game of making perfect piece of pottery from clay and it falling off the shelf and shattering, and then picking those pieces up and lining them with gold, piecing them back together to put an intricate design in something that is broken, and making it whole again in a new way, a way that reflects and shows the beauty despite the wear and tear. There are times where I completely forget that there's a lot of life lessons that come from being put in adverse circumstances and conditions and suffering. But I think the world's had enough of commiserating misery, and it doesn't want to hear what it knows so much as it wants answers and it wants things immediately, but it has no patience for the fact that time is ever moving, ever pressing onward, and at any given moment, people can choose to just come to a standstill, but they don't, because they're afraid that the momentum behind them and what they do will come with a roar and an echo from that Leviathan of time, that dragon of chaos that exists within the boundaries and parameters beyond our perception, the roar and the echo of untamed, chaotic force, of what-ifs, of potentials, the idea that it can come toppling down at any given moment in any given circumstance, so people just keep in the rat race and they keep chasing and they keep pursuing things that distract them from the reality that everything is relatively peaceful at the end of searching, and the end of seeking. You find that there was nothing to discover other than the fact that you arrived. You've been arriving since you started in the present. There's only ever been one destination for you to arrive at, and your arrival, it's here and now. It's always here and now. It doesn't go. Only thing that flies by is time. And it's illusory. It's ephemeral. It's a thought. It's a fleeting moment. And people tell me you can't accomplish and achieve things and ambitions and dreams and all this crazy imaginary stuff. Yet 90% of the world's populace is chasing a fleeting, illusory mirage, a shadow and a thought. Here they are trying to secure more free time through the chasing of material pursuits, through the chasing of decadence, through the chasing of the perfect partner, the perfect person, so much so that they turn their entire civilization, the entire world, into a job application, into a psychiatric evaluation. And it's ironic because we state it's a crazy world, and it is, but we pretend to fit and confine ourselves in roles that seem sane to most people while doing the most insane, mundane things that kill and wound our inner child and our creative capacity, that numb the mind. I think I don't know jack shit and fuck all. And I think it's better that way, because I have a lot less to worry about when I think about it in that circumstance. And maybe all the learning that I did was for the fact and the sake of the purpose of sparing myself a lifetime of chasing things I don't really need, let alone want at this point. What I want is to be here, now, with you, me, sharing this moment of peace. A world that is highly conflicted with itself and its pursuits. I just want to be here, sharing peace of mind with you.